If you're over 75 and proud of the fact that you walk every day, first of all, that's wonderful. Walking is one of the best things you can do for your heart, your mood, and your overall health. But what if I told you that many seniors who never miss their daily walk still end up falling, getting injured, and sometimes even losing their independence? The truth is shocking. Walking keeps you moving, but it doesn't fully train the specific muscles, reactions, and balance systems that protect you when you suddenly trip, stumble, or lose your footing. That's why some older adults can walk a mile without a problem, yet struggle to catch themselves when life throws them off balance. Today, I'm going to show you 5 simple exercises that take less than 15 minutes a day and target the exact abilities that walking often leaves behind. These movements can help improve balance, build practical strength, and increase confidence in everyday life. And here's the surprising part. One of these exercises looks almost too simple to matter, yet it may be the most important one of all. So why does this happen? Why can someone walk every day and still feel less steady than they did a few years ago? The answer has less to do with effort and more to do with what changes inside the body after age 75. As we get older, the nervous system becomes slower at processing information. The tiny stabilizing muscles around the ankles, hips, and core gradually weaken if they aren't specifically challenged. Reflexes that once reacted instantly begin taking a little longer. That delay may only be a fraction of a second, but sometimes that's all it takes to turn a small stumble into a serious fall. Walking is excellent exercise, but it mainly moves the body in a straight line. It doesn't ask your balance system to work very hard. It doesn't train quick recovery reactions. It doesn't strengthen the muscles responsible for catching you when you suddenly lose stability. That's why many seniors who appear active still struggle when stepping off a curb, turning too quickly, or walking across uneven ground. What most people don't realize is that balance is not just about strong legs. It's the result of several systems working together perfectly every second you are on your feet. But there's one overlooked system that determines whether you stay upright or end up on the floor. At this stage of life, the goal isn't to become an athlete or break fitness records. The real goal is independence. It's being able to stand up from a chair without struggling, carry your groceries without fear, climb a few steps with confidence, and take care of yourself without relying on someone else. These simple abilities are easy to take for granted until they begin to disappear. For many adults over 75, losing independence doesn't happen all at once. It happens little by little, through weaker muscles, slower reactions, and declining balance. That's why the right kind of training matters. Not because it helps you look fitter, but because it helps you keep living life on your own terms. And the first exercise trains exactly that hidden survival system. Let's begin with the first exercise, heel-to-toe walking. At first glance, it looks almost too simple to make a difference. All you're doing is placing one foot directly in front of the other, heel touching toe, as if you're walking along a straight line. But don't let that simplicity fool you. This movement challenges one of the most important systems in the aging body, balance control. As we get older, communication between the brain, eyes, inner ear, muscles, and joints becomes less efficient. Small delays in that communication can make us feel unsteady, especially when turning, stepping over obstacles, or walking on uneven surfaces. Heel-to-toe walking helps reconnect those pathways. It forces your nervous system to pay attention to where your body is in space and make constant adjustments to keep you stable. That's why balance specialists often use similar exercises in fall prevention programs. The benefits go beyond simply preventing falls. This exercise can improve coordination, ankle mobility, posture, concentration, and confidence in movement. To perform it safely, stand near a wall, countertop, or sturdy chair for support if needed. Look straight ahead rather than down at your feet. Slowly place the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other foot. Pause briefly, then take the next step. Move slowly and stay in control throughout the exercise. Start with 5 to 10 steps and gradually increase as your balance improves. If you wobble, that's perfectly normal. In fact, it's a sign that your balance system is being challenged and trained. Just remember, this exercise is not about speed. It's about precision, awareness, and control. Balance is only part of the story. Next comes a movement that predicts whether you can live independently. I remember a 7-8-year-old woman who told me she wasn't afraid of walking long distances. What worried her were stairs, narrow hallways, and crowded places. After just a few weeks of practicing heel-to-toe walking every day, she noticed a remarkable change. She wasn't reaching for furniture as often. She felt steadier when turning around. Most importantly, her confidence began to return. And that's a powerful benefit because fear of falling often causes people to move less, which can lead to even greater weakness over time. But confidence alone isn't enough if your legs can't support you. Now let's talk about an exercise that may be one of the strongest predictors of independence after age 75, chair squats. This movement may look simple, but it trains a skill you use every single day. Every time you stand up from a chair, get out of bed, rise from the toilet, or step out of a car, you're relying on the strength of your legs. Unfortunately, leg strength naturally declines with age if it isn't challenged regularly. When that happens, everyday tasks become harder, and the risk of falling increases. Chair squats help reverse that process by strengthening the muscles that matter most, including the thighs, hips, and core. These muscles provide the power and stability needed to move safely and confidently throughout the day. The exercise is simple to perform. Sit in a sturdy chair with your feet about hip-width apart. Keep your chest up and your back straight. Lean slightly forward, press your feet into the floor, and slowly stand up. Pause for a moment at the top, then lower yourself back into the chair with control. The goal is not speed. The goal is strength and control. If needed, you can lightly use the armrests at first, but try to rely on your legs as much as possible. One common mistake is dropping into the chair instead of lowering yourself slowly. Another is allowing the knees to collapse inward during the movement. Focus on smooth, controlled motion from beginning to end. Even a few repetitions each day can help build strength over time. The ability to stand up without assistance is more than a fitness achievement. It's a key part of maintaining freedom and independence as you age. Strong legs are critical, but there is another body part most seniors forget to train. I once met an 81-year-old man whose biggest concern wasn't exercise, it was losing his independence. Standing up from a chair had become a struggle, and he often relied on his hands for support. He began doing just a few chair squats each day, focusing on slow, controlled movement. Within a month, he noticed a real difference. Getting out of a chair felt easier, and he no longer hesitated before standing up. His strength improved, but so did his confidence. What happened next surprised even him. Now let's focus on a part of the body that many seniors rarely think about until problems begin: the hips. Your hips play a critical role in almost every movement you make. They act as the bridge between your upper body and your legs, helping you walk, turn, bend, and maintain balance. When the hips become stiff or weak, even simple movements can start to feel less stable. That's where standing hip circles come in. This gentle exercise helps improve mobility, coordination, and control in the hip joint. As we age, most of our daily movements happen in a straight line. We walk forward, sit down, stand up, and repeat. Very little movement challenges the hips to rotate or move through their full range of motion. Over time, this lack of variety can reduce flexibility and make quick adjustments more difficult. Standing hip circles help restore that lost movement. To perform the exercise, stand near a wall, countertop, or sturdy chair for support. Shift your weight onto one leg and slowly move the other foot in a small circle, as if you're drawing a circle on the floor with your toes. Complete 5 slow circles in one direction, then reverse and perform 5 more. Switch sides and repeat. Keep the movements controlled and comfortable. There's no need to make large circles. In fact, smaller circles often provide better results because they allow you to focus on balance and control. This exercise helps improve hip mobility, strengthens stabilizing muscles, and teaches your body how to respond more effectively when changing direction. Over time, many seniors notice that turning around, stepping sideways, and moving through tight spaces feels easier and more natural. Flexible hips help you move, but what happens when you need to catch yourself suddenly? I remember a 76-year-old woman who felt perfectly comfortable walking in a straight line, but she became nervous whenever she had to turn quickly. In the kitchen, at the grocery store, or even when someone called her name from behind, she often felt unsteady while changing direction. After adding standing hip circles to her daily routine, she noticed a gradual but meaningful improvement. Turning became smoother, and she no longer felt the need to brace herself before every pivot. Her body responded more naturally and confidently. The next exercise strengthens a body part that often determines whether a stumble becomes a fall. The fourth exercise may not look like a traditional strength workout, but don't underestimate its value. It's called the isometric wall push, and it's one of the safest ways for adults over 75 to build upper body and core strength without weights or complicated equipment. As we age, many people focus on their legs and forget about the muscles in the arms, shoulders, chest, and core. Yet these muscles play a major role in daily life. Every time you push yourself up from a bed, steady yourself against a countertop, open a heavy door, or catch yourself during a loss of balance, you're relying on upper body strength. The core is just as important because it acts as the body's central stabilizer, helping transfer force and maintain control during movement. What makes this exercise unique is that there is very little motion involved. Instead of moving your body, you create tension by pushing against an immovable surface. To perform the exercise, stand facing a wall about an arm's length away. Place your palms flat against the wall at chest height. Step your feet slightly back so your body forms a gentle angle. Now press your hands firmly into the wall as if you're trying to push it away. Hold that position for 5 to 10 seconds while breathing normally. Then, relax and repeat. You should feel the muscles in your arms, shoulders, chest, and core working together. One common mistake is holding your breath, which can create unnecessary strain. Another is standing too close to the wall, reducing the challenge. With regular practice, this exercise can improve posture, increase stability, and make everyday movements feel easier. Yet, even strong arms aren't enough if your body can't stabilize itself on one leg. I remember a 9-year-old woman who told me that one of the hardest parts of her day was getting out of bed in the morning. She didn't feel weak while sitting, but pushing herself up often felt difficult and frustrating. After adding isometric wall pushes to her daily routine, she began noticing small changes. Within a few weeks, she could push herself upright with less effort and more confidence. Tasks that once felt challenging started to feel manageable again. Sometimes the biggest improvements come from the simplest exercises. Now we're coming to the exercise many experts consider the ultimate balance test. Now we've reached what many balance specialists consider one of the most revealing exercises for older adults, the single leg stance. It sounds incredibly simple, just standing on one leg, but don't let that simplicity fool you. Every time you walk, climb stairs, step over an object, or change direction, there is a brief moment when your entire body is supported by just one leg. If that system isn't strong and stable, the risk of losing balance increases significantly. In fact, many falls don't happen while walking in a straight line. They happen while turning, reaching, stepping around obstacles, or reacting to an unexpected movement. That's why practicing balance on one leg is so valuable. This exercise challenges the ankles, hips, core, and nervous system to work together. To perform it safely, stand beside a sturdy chair, countertop, or wall. Place one hand lightly on the support if needed. Shift your weight onto one foot and slowly lift the other foot an inch or two off the floor. Keep your chest tall, look straight ahead, and breathe normally. Hold the position for 10 to 20 seconds, then switch sides. As your balance improves, you can gradually reduce how much support you use or increase the time you hold the position. One common mistake is holding your breath or locking the standing knee. Stay relaxed and maintain a slight bend in the leg. Over time, this exercise can improve coordination, ankle strength, hip stability, posture, and confidence. It teaches your body how to recover when balance is challenged instead of panicking. Even small improvements can make everyday activities feel safer and more natural. This simple drill may reveal more about your future mobility than you think. I remember an 82-year-old man who was reluctant to try balance exercises because he believed he was simply too old to improve. At first, he could barely hold a single leg stance for a few seconds without reaching for support. But with consistent practice, things began to change. A few weeks later, he noticed it was easier to put on his pants while standing, step into the shower, and move around the house with less hesitation. His balance improved, but more importantly, so did his ability to take care of himself. But the real magic happens when all 5 exercises work together. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. These 5 exercises are powerful on their own, but their true value comes from how they work together. Think of them as a safety net designed to help protect you from one of the biggest threats to independence after 75, falling. Heel-to-toe walking improves balance and body awareness, helping your brain and feet communicate more effectively. Chair squats build the leg strength needed to stand up, sit down, and move confidently throughout the day. Standing hip circles restore mobility and make turning, pivoting, and changing direction feel smoother and safer. Isometric wall pushes strengthen the upper body and core, giving you the stability needed to push, brace, and support yourself when necessary. Finally, the single leg stance challenges your entire balance system, teaching your body how to stay calm and controlled when stability is tested. Together, these exercises train balance, strength, mobility, coordination, and confidence. They address the weaknesses that walking alone often misses. Instead of relying on one ability, your body develops multiple layers of protection that work together in everyday life. That's what makes this routine so effective. You're not just exercising individual muscles. You're building a complete system that helps keep you upright, steady, and independent. Most people don't realize what starts changing after just a few weeks. So what can you realistically expect if you practice these exercises consistently? The first change many people notice isn't physical strength, it's confidence. Simple tasks that once felt uncertain begin to feel manageable again. Walking through the house becomes smoother. Turning around feels less awkward. Getting up from a chair requires less effort. As your balance improves, your movements become more natural and controlled. Many seniors also report feeling steadier on uneven surfaces and less worried about losing their footing. Another important benefit is faster reaction time. Your body becomes better at recognizing small shifts in balance and responding before a stumble turns into a fall. These improvements may seem small at first, but they can have a major impact on daily life. When you trust your body more, you tend to move more freely and stay more active. And perhaps the most encouraging part is what science says about aging itself. One of the biggest myths about aging is the belief that decline is unavoidable and that nothing can be done after a certain age. Fortunately, that's not what the science shows. Research continues to demonstrate that the human body remains remarkably adaptable well into the later decades of life. Even after age 75, muscles can become stronger, balance can improve, and the nervous system can learn new movement patterns when given the right challenges. That's why rehabilitation specialists often see meaningful progress in adults who start exercising later in life. The key isn't performing extreme workouts or spending hours in the gym. It's consistent. Small, targeted exercises practiced regularly can send powerful signals to the body to adapt and improve. Every time you challenge your balance, strengthen your muscles, or improve your coordination, you're reminding your body that these abilities still matter. Age may change the pace of progress, but it does not eliminate the possibility of progress. Before we finish, there's one question I'd like you to answer. Now I'd love to hear from you. Of the 5 exercises we covered today, which one do you think would be the most challenging for you? Is it the heel-to-toe walk, the chair squat, the hip circles, the wall push, or the single leg stance? Let me know in the comments below. Your experience may help encourage someone else who is starting the same journey. And if you found this video helpful, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. We share practical health, mobility, and independence tips for older adults every week. By subscribing, you'll never miss future videos designed to help you stay strong, steady, and confident as you age. As we wrap up, remember that staying strong and independent after 75 isn't about doing extreme workouts or chasing perfection. It's about taking small, consistent steps that help your body stay capable and confident. The 5 exercises we discussed today can be done in just a few minutes, but their impact can extend far beyond your daily routine. Every effort you make today is an investment in your future mobility and independence. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We truly appreciate your support, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, stay strong, stay steady, and take care.